Alright, hello and good evening. My name is Andrew Wynn. This is ISA 4220, spring semester 2018, and today we'll be talking about operating systems and firewalls. Alright, first let's just talk about what an operating system is and where we see them. So an operating system, this is the most important software that runs on a computer. It manages the computer's memory and the processes with it. And this what an operating system is it just helps you access all the applications installed on your computer. So whether it's you're trying to use Microsoft Word, Excel, PowerPoint, if you're a musician trying to use Logic, or you're a gamer trying to play Call of Duty on your computer, you need an operating system. This is the core of your computer. But we're also starting to see operating systems in phones, or within the evolution of the smartphone. It's basically become a mini computer, and operating systems are imperative for all devices that we use right now. I found this image on the internet. I just thought it was kind of cool to see how many different operating systems that we have. Uh, we have we have the Mac and Windows rival. I personally like Mac, but you also have Ubuntu and Linux. And yeah, I just thought this was a cool slide, just to see how many different uh, types of operating systems we have that appeal to different users when using technology. But today we will be focusing on two types of operating systems, Windows and Ubuntu. So let's talk about that. So the Windows 2012 operating system, this is what we're using in class, what we're using in SecLab. Its code name is Windows 8. It's the 6th release for the Windows operating systems. And just listed below here on the PowerPoint, these are just a couple of the features that I thought were kind of cool to help, or just to see how Windows has improved on their systems. So like their GUI, this is allowing administrators to communicate between server and server through cloud-based, which gives them more ability and more access to these servers, because cloud lets you get in touch with these servers anywhere. Their address management, it helps monitor and audit the network IP address space. Hyper-V, it's a 3.0 model right now. It's just a way to allow virtual networks to expand greater. And an Active Directory, this is a PowerShell that allows administrators to work remotely on a cloud-based server. And just to sum up all the functions of the new features in the Windows system is Microsoft's just scaling. All these improvements are just helping the whole operating system grow bigger, be more flexible, and be faster for users. But let's talk about Ubuntu. It's up to the 17.1 update. It's a complete Linux operating system. And after researching Ubuntu, one of the cool things I found were snap packages. This is where developers make packages of all entities of an application. So it's all in one place. It solves problems, removing the lengthy process of getting all of your information of the application into a repository. It's all happening there. And snap packages also make your application more secure, because each app is sandboxed. And you also see new updates in the Ubuntu operating system that's also like Windows, just wanting to be scalable, wanting to grow, wanting to be faster, wanting to operate more efficiently, less errors. And let's talk about how to harden their operating system. So first things first, program cleanup. Just remove any unnecessary programs. This limits, or not limits, it reduces your risk highly of having a hacker compromise your system, just because it's just an extra entrance point. If you're not using the app, take it off your computer. Service packs, always use the latest versions, because they're always continually patching and fixing any errors within the service packs. Patches and patch management, always plan, always test. Limiting user access to just certain things on the operating system, because they might mess something up. Humans are the biggest error we have in organizations. Something that I think is important is password expiration, whether for your home device or for the workplace. Always just having a new password, because if a hacker is trying to enter your computer, consistently changing your password every 6 months or a year, uh, it's less probable for the hacker to enter your system. If you have temp accounts, um, limit their access, because if somebody gets into your organization, they get on a computer, create a guest account. If they have all access, they can take down your entire system. Antivirus software, always have that on your computer. It's always scanning for Trojan horses, viruses, worms. Just trying to keep your computer safe. It's a great precaution to have to make your system stronger. Security testing, and don't let file sharing occur, because that can just be a big mess. Some more practices I found for operating systems. This is more for in the workplace, with group policies, security templates, and configuration baselines. Just group policies. What groups can access what? Can the accounting department access the HR documents? Can the HR department access IS information systems documents? You need to have a set of rules there, who can access what. And security templates. What kind of policies can be accessed? Is it easy for employees to look at what policies are allowed and not allowed in the workplace? And another thing for hardening operating systems, just configuration baselines. How are you measuring the changes in the work organization in the way of how are you measuring your progress? How do you know that your systems are either getting harder or they're getting more vulnerable? You need to know to succeed and stay and keep your system safe in an organization. Another way is just ports. This is what your applications are. I talked about this about 2 slides ago. If you have any unnecessary applications, just take them off, because it leaves ports open. And this is where ports just allow two computers to communicate. These are doorways into the client or server, and so if you have an open port, an attacker could get in. This makes your system vulnerable, and you need to get that fixed. Now we're going to talk about firewalls. What is a firewall? So, definition of a firewall is any device that prevents a specific type of information from moving between the outside world, known as the untrusted network, moving into the inside world, known as the trusted network. We see firewalls, many types of them, such as packet filters, stateful inspection, and proxies. But we're going to focus on 2 types of firewalls today, IP tables and then the Windows R2 firewall. So the IP table, you're going to see that in Linux, and the Windows R2 firewall, you guessed it, we're going to see it in Windows. So IP tables. It's an extremely flexible firewall built for Linux operating systems. This is a command line firewall, so it uses policy chain to accept or deny traffic. So if you have information or anything trying to go through this firewall, there has to be a rule to match the IP table to let it pass. And if it doesn't, it gets denied and rejected and doesn't get through. But there's 3 types, or 3 parts of the IP table. There's the input, the forward, and the output. The input, this is the chain used to control the behavior for incoming connections. The forward function, it's the chain used for incoming connections that aren't actually being delivered locally. And output is this chain's used for outgoing connections. The Windows Server R2 firewall, it's just trying to keep the server safe. It allows the connection to happen securely, and it only lets the connection be secure through the use of the Internet Protocol Security IPsec. And if it's not secure, it blocks the connection. And as we saw in IP tables with the input and output chains, Windows firewall uses inbound and outbound rules. So there's rules for traffic coming in. Is it credible? Is it meeting the criteria and stuff listed on the firewall? And then outbound traffic, is the traffic going out credible? Is it going to the right place? You need to make sure of that. Some best practices for hardening firewalls: delete unused rules, because that can just be an error that will occur down the road. Limiting employees' access to external hosts. Just let them. Limitation in external hosts is big. They just need to be focusing on what they need to be doing in the workplace. Need to have network documentation. There needs to be physical security surrounding these firewalls because someone could come in and damage the firewalls, and it lets the network be completely vulnerable. Um, Always have control change and network-based and host-based firewalls. So this is a big part, just a network-based and a host-based. So if your network-based becomes compromised and you don't have a host-based firewall, it'll go through that the DMZ zone, and it could go straight into the system and crash it. But if you have a host-based firewall, if your network base is compromised, it still has to go through the host base to get into your system. So having those two is very good. It's needed, in my opinion. These are my sources, and this concludes my slideshow. Thank you so much for watching. Once again, this is Andrew Wynn with ISA 4220 Spring Semester. You guys have a great day.